Sarah Bedford joins me from the Washington Examiner. Good morning, Sarah. I'd like your reaction to last night.
I think it was shocking but not surprising to people who have, paid attention to Joe Biden over the past few months, this past year. And for Democrats, this is a crisis of their own making. I mean, we have seen almost Soviet style lying from this White House about what voters can see with their own eyes. And to confront this reality now rather than when it started becoming apparent more than a year ago, I think is something that Democrats have only themselves to blame for, and the options that they have left on the table are just are they're not very many.
I am not easily shocked, Sarah, but Thomas Friedman has a column up this morning. Yashar Ali posted an excerpt because I don't read Friedman normally. New York Times columnist Tom Friedman, who is a personal friend of President Biden, calls on him to drop out of the race. Quote, I watched the Biden Trump debate alone in a Lisbon hotel room, and it made me weep. I cannot remember a more heartbreaking moment in American presidential campaign politics in my lifetime, precisely because of what it revealed. Joe Biden, a good man and a good president, has no business running for reelection. That's shocking, Sarah. Do you see Joe Biden giving up the ship of state tiller willingly?
I think we're in such an unpredictable moment right now. I don't think we've experienced anything like this, certainly not in my lifetime. We saw glimpses of this kind of panic from congressional Democrats, from Democratic strategists after the Robert Hur report came out, suggesting that Joe Biden wasn't mentally competent to stand trial on illegal activity. But the White House was able to successfully tamp that down. Can they tamp it down in this case? Is there still an appetite to do so? I think that's really unclear. What will, I think, make the difference is if you start to see the leaders of the Democratic Party, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, old stalwarts like Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama come out and echo some of the concerns that we're seeing from, the sort of anonymous Beltway chatter Democrats right now. That would, I think, move the needle and make Joe Biden's position untenable. But if he doesn't agree to step aside, there is no mechanism for Democrats in this case.
Sarah, is anyone talking about the obvious? He should resign because we have real enemies who want to kill us. We have 10 million people who've come across the border. We have at least 400 people connected to ISIS by the ISIS ring coming over the border. I'm worried about China. I'm worried about Russia. I'm worried about Iran getting a nuke. Israel is not getting what they need from us. Has anyone said to you he should step aside right now and let Kamala Harris at least have the benefit of incumbency moving forward into the election?
It's shocking, Hugh, how little that we've heard that. We haven't heard it very much, if any at all. 25th Amendment talk. The concern here is winning an election. It doesn't seem to be running the country. I think the conversation about whether Joe Biden should be commander in chief right now in June, rather than over the next 4 years, is one that should be happening, but it's not, because the fear of Donald Trump's return to the presidency has, I think, corrupted the integrity of a lot of these people, and even some colleagues in the media who can no longer see the forest for the trees. The fear here, the overriding concern, is not what's best for the country. It's that Donald Trump gained a significant advantage last night, and the entire ball game is keeping power out of Donald Trump's hands. So the obvious answer to your question, that Kamala Harris is an obviously better choice to be commander in chief right now, is not the one being asked. It's who can best defeat Donald Trump in November.
Well, they can't dump the vice president. They'll lose black women. I mean, that's their most reliable demographic. And they'll stay home if they throw over a black woman, won't they?
Well, I think the Kamala Harris of it all is why we're in the situation that we're in right now. It's why a year ago there wasn't a significant public pressure campaign to have Joe Biden step aside, and why one did not materialize after the Robert Hur report. It's because there's a real fear that Kamala Harris, even at her, peak performance age right now, is still weaker than Joe Biden and would lose what Democrats had hoped could be an otherwise potentially
But didn't
winnable
that flip
election.
last night? Didn't that
I,
flip last? I agree with you. Up until last night, Democrats didn't know that Kamala Harris is a better candidate than Joe Biden, But they know now.
Well, they know that she is potentially a better alternative to Joe Biden. I'm not sure they believe that she is poised or positioned to defeat Donald Trump in November. So to the extent that you saw names being floated last night, we obviously heard a lot of Gavin Newsom, Gretchen Whitmer, Sherrod Brown. I mean, there were just random names being thrown around in that mix as well, because I think that the overriding concern here is not letting Donald Trump win, and that's warped these conversations.
Quick exit, Sarah. You cover the Hill. There are 11 Democratic incumbents who are in danger of losing or the open seat in Michigan. Did any Democratic incumbent who is running for reelection talk to anyone last night?
I think we heard a lot of silence from Democrats last night. I think they're going to keep that going as long as they can.